Hello everyone, I'm Joshua Gillespie and welcome to this special holiday-themed episode of Muppet History. Today, in honor of its 20th anniversary, we'll be looking at a toy that many a mommy fight and a delivery truck chase was started because of. The legendary 1996 holiday craze, Tickle Me Elmo. In 1992, after being turned down by 12 toy companies, Ron Dubrin and Greg Hyman presented Tyco Preschool with their invention, Tickles the Chimp, a toy monkey with a computer chip which laughed when tickled. Ron Dubrin came up with the idea after seeing two kids tickling each other helplessly. He wondered how could he translate that silliness into a toy. So they took a prototype gorilla toy, gutted it, and stuck a computer chip inside of it that would make it laugh whenever squeezed. Tyco saw the potential in this toy and decided to make it into a licensed product. At the time, Tyco had the license to produce toys based on the Looney Tunes characters, so for the first several months of development, the toy was being worked on as Tickle Me Taz, based on the wild and rambunctious Tasmanian Devil. However, Tyco lost the Looney Tunes license, but at the same time gained the license for the preschooler-aimed hit television series Sesame Street. Thus began development on what would become Tickle Me Elmo. Elmo, who was once just a basic background monster, had begun rising in popularity during the late 80s, thanks to his new performer, Kevin Clash, who took the originally gruff-sounding creature and defined him as the lovable, falsetto-voiced, giggle-filled monster children adore to this day. When Tickle Me Elmo was first presented to adults, it didn't go as planned. While the adults found it to be nice, they felt it was still missing something. So back to the drawing board they went. A new motor was added, one that can still be found in modern cell phones. Now, Tickle Me Elmo didn't just laugh, but he had that extra something they were looking for. Now, he could vibrate. And Tickle Me Elmo was born. The doll was released to the public in July of 1996 to moderate initial success. Tyco had ordered 400,000 units and they were selling well. However, one morning in October of that year, Rosie O'Donnell featured the doll on her show. Tyco had sent one doll for her son and 200 additional units for the show's producers. Whenever a guest would say the word wall, Rosie O'Donnell would throw one of the dolls into the audience. Then in November, on an episode of the Today Show, Bryant Gumbel held and demonstrated the toy throughout. Both of these promotions helped increase sales. But then, Black Friday hit. In stores all across the country, within 2 hours, Tickle Me Elmo was sold out. Tyco had ordered an additional 600,000 units, but still could not meet demand. And as we've learned over the years, whenever there's scarcity in a product, especially something aimed towards children, people will go insane. 2 women were arrested in Chicago after fighting over the doll, while in New York, people chased after delivery trucks trying to get their hands on Elmo before it reached the stores. There was even a story going around at the time that John Gotti Jr. went into a Toys R Us and bought an entire truckload, though that story has never been confirmed. The craziest story is a clerk working at a Walmart in Canada was spotted by a crowd of 300 people being handed a case of the toys. The clerk was trampled, suffering a pulled hamstring, injuries to his back, jaw, and knee, a broken rib, and a concussion. By December of 1996, the entire stock of 1 million Tickle Me Elmos had been sold out, and by the end of 1997, over 5 million had been sold. Remember, Tyco originally ordered only 400,000. 5 million. Those parents who bought Tickle Me Elmo before Black Friday were extremely smart people, including my mother. So, what happens when a toy has sold out? People become desperate. You don't want to disappoint your child, especially not during the holidays. So, unsurprisingly, a black market of Tickle Me Elmos quickly rose. There were reports of parents spending hundreds of dollars, and by the end of the year, some people were spending as much as $1,500 for a Tickle Me Elmo. There was even a story of a man in Denver purchasing the toy for $7,100. A store in New York even had a Tickle Me Elmo draped with a diamond necklace and a fancy bracelet worth $1 million. The doll was a free gift if you bought the necklace and the bracelet. Keep this in mind. The doll originally retailed for around $25 to $30. $1,500. Needless to say, along with the Nintendo 64, PlayStation 1, Star Wars toys, and Barbie dolls, Tickle Me Elmo was one of the biggest toys of the holiday 1996 season and was the biggest holiday craze since the Cabbage Patch Kids in 1993. It was a financial and commercial juggernaut, launching Elmo into superstardom and brought in $30 million in revenue for the year of 1996, helping out Tycho Preschool and the financially troubled Sesame Workshop. In early 1997, Tycho released new Tickle Me toys based on other characters from Sesame Street, such as Tickle Me Ernie, Tickle Me Big Bird, and Tickle Me Cookie Monster. But despite good sales, none of these toys ever achieved the same amount of fame as Tickle Me Elmo. Over the past 20 years since it was first unleashed, new Elmo toys continue to be produced with new functions, whether it be laughing and falling down, learning as the child plays with them, or just simply doing the chicken dance. You can always expect a new Elmo toy on the shelf, and they're still pretty popular with kids, though they'll never achieve what they did in 1996. Neil Friedman, who was the president of Tycho Preschool in 1996, said years later, "When you played with Tickle Me Elmo for the first time, it brought a smile to everyone's face. It was a magical surprise." And I agree with that 100%. Tickle Me Elmo was there for me during my second and third heart surgeries. It was my protector and kept me going. So if it wasn't for Tickle Me Elmo, I might not be here today. And because of that, in my opinion, Tickle Me Elmo, despite the parodies and taunts and jokes that are made about it, it's still pretty important to me. It's important to Muppet history. And I think it's the most important Muppet toy ever released.